I'm going to tell you a secret. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm a motherless daughter. I lost my mom 3 times, and I couldn't tell you the first thing about mothering. When I was 7, back in the summer of 1976, my brothers and sister and I were outside from sunrise until the streetlights came on. One day, the mother of one of our neighborhood kids handed out lists for a neighborhood scavenger hunt. My older sister and I were on a team. I don't recall all the items, but for one item, I knew we had it in our house. I raced home through the neighborhood on my little brother's big wheel, screeched to a halt in the driveway like Evel Knievel, and barreled into the house. Mom, I have to find this thing for the scavenger hunt. The front door slammed behind me, and I ran upstairs to the bathroom, grabbed the scavenger hunt thing that I needed, and pounded down the stairs to the living room and stopped in my tracks. There she was, sitting on the giant green couch, a laundry basket full of laundry at her feet, and she was smiling, laughing at the TV, but the TV wasn't on. I looked around the room, thinking our neighbor, Mom's good coffee shop friend, was there, but the room was empty. I asked Mom, who are you talking to? And she didn't even look at me and kept laughing and looking at the black screen of our old, ugly 1970s TV. I ran out of the house, scared that Mom saw ghosts and could talk to them. I found my sister at the park and gave her the scavenger hunt thing and then left to go swing on the big kid swings at the park. The next time I lost my mom was far more frightening. I don't remember a lot of the details, and to this day, my sister says she'll tell me what happened that day. I was 9 years old. It was fall, leaves were off the trees, and it was dark. The cement was wet and cold, and the icy smell of winter was creeping in the air. I came home to find a strange woman sitting in our living room. I remember being so embarrassed this woman was there in our house. The house was a mess. There were small cracks in our windows that let in the frigid breeze. I looked at all the people who were there, my mom, my sister, my brothers, my mom's sisters, my grandma, and this strange lady. This lady was a social worker, and she had come to take us. She said it wasn't for long, but long enough for Mom to clean up the house, maybe find some work and get some food on the table. There was talk that 4 kids were too many for any one family to take care of, so the older 2 kids went with Grandma, and the younger 2 had to live with this guy called Dad. The younger 2 were me and my little brother. This time, we didn't get to go back to be with my mom. This time, my mom stayed in the house and couldn't change a thing. Soon, there were lawyers and guardians and a custody switch for me and my little brother, and we were moving away from my mom. My mom had to move out of the only home I'd known and live in a place for unfortunate women. We were lucky. The guy known as Dad said other people would have just put you in foster care. The guy known as Dad lived with his girlfriend, and she didn't like children, and she definitely did not like us. The last time I saw my mom was just before I lost her for good. I had grown into a young woman, finished college, and moved away, far away from the guy known as Dad and his girlfriend, who did become his wife. It was Christmas, 1999. I was in my hometown visiting my mom at her teeny tiny apartment for unfortunate women where she had lived for 23 years. My little brother, my older sister, and I took my mom out for Chinese food. I looked at my mom, a woman that I hardly knew but loved so fiercely, a woman who took a back seat to the guy known as Dad, the guy who controlled much of what I did, where I went, and if I got to see my mom on each Sunday all those years ago. A woman who would knit 4 sweaters for each of her kids at Christmas, along with matching crocheted Afghans, and a woman who always was happy to see me, a woman who called me weekly when I moved out of state to go to college. Her cancer came back. It was stage 4. And this Chinese lunch was the last time I was going to see her. And it was the last time I saw her. I drove back to the Southwest, to my life that I chose. And soon after her passing, I met a guy at a bar, fell in love, and made babies. And now I'm a mother. And when I saw my son for the first time, I cried. not because of his softer than soft fuzz on his head or his sweetest face and his bluest eyes, but because I truly didn't know how I was going to raise this little boy past the age of 9.